And we are live. I'm here with Rhys McKee. Rhys, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, pleasure. Pleasure. Always good to chat.
I'm buzzing to speak to you again. I've got so many questions because last time was such a whirlwind and you just like were off to Fight Island and you were fighting that weekend. And we didn't want to disturb you on fight week because you kind of found out that you were in the UFC, found out that you were fighting, basically had to pack your bags and go straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was just it was hectic. It's kind of only just slowed down, to be honest. It was just 100%, and life's kind of been different since, hasn't it? So it's good.
What does it feel like? I still haven't had a chance to ask you this question, but you were someone who, you know, had been working towards this since you were a kid, like since you were 16, this was your big dream. We obviously saw the moment that Graham Boylan told you, but what was it like for you?
Yeah, it's like, and I keep using the analogy. It's like an outer body experience, and like that's the best way to describe the whole thing. It was just mad. You know, it's like the moments I maybe expected the call never came, and then the moment I probably was least expecting the call was the moment the call came. So like it was just amazing, like just unbelievable. Obviously, it wasn't the fight. We maybe like the way the fight went. It wasn't ideal, of course, but you know, the feeling of reaching it, like, you know, getting there where I want to get, and now that it's my time to shine there, it's unbelievable. You know, it's something I'm extremely proud of, and it brings a smile to my face every time I think about that day. Actually, seeing Mason Jones's video today, it made me kind of emotional. You know, because yeah, to see, like, I resonate with how he feels, and what it means to him and his girlfriend and his family, and it's amazing. It really is.
It is such a special moment, and it's really nice for us to be able to be a part of it by watching it. And you really did look absolutely shocked with the timing of it. Obviously, the conversation was going down a different route in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it was so bizarre because I always remember Graham saying, you know, he was doing an interview, and you know, there wasn't, and a lot of people say to me, you know, oh, did you know really? And it's like I didn't have a clue. It's just I'm not one of them guys that like, oh, this is the moment, or this is when this will happen. Like, you know, like it always reminds me, the way people say it, it reminds you of, you know, when a girl thinks she's getting engaged. Says all her friends, "Oh, I'm going to get engaged," and it's like then it doesn't come, and then it's the worst in the world. So I always said my moment would come when my moment comes, and yeah, so unbelievable.
And there were like kind of loads of stories over the years that I've heard that you would never go to a UFC event or corner at a UFC event or even wear like UFC gloves or anything in the gym until it was your time. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I always remember Norman being signed and having his fights in the UFC, and he would have come back and like he would have had his gloves, and you would have seen like a line forming of people trying them on, and it was in no disrespect to Norman, but like I just never, it was just never for me. And like even people used to wear UFC hoodies and shorts and all the carry on. It's like for me, like I just, and it was weird. I detached from that very young, even before I maybe even wanted UFC. Like I just like, you know, I like earning stuff, and I like to, you know, I don't wear football tops or stuff like that because it's like, it's not me, it's not my uniform. So maybe I'm a bit weird that way, but it certainly worked, and it made it all more special. In Abu Dhabi, the first time I tried them gloves on was the first time I ever wore them. When the fight was the second.
That's just so mad, but I do really love that story, and like yeah, it just
I
must
never
have
have
made
them
it all
off.
the more special.
I never have them off. I train on them now, and I mean, maybe I wear them about 16 times a week.
Oh
Always,
my god,
always on.
because you know you've earned them now.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, as well, you weren't just, you know, called up to the UFC. It was Fight Island. It's one of the most historic and memorable events, you know, that people will be looking back on this for years and years to come. Like the first lot of Fight Island fights there. It's just incredible.
it's ridiculous. I remember them talking about it, and people were saying, "Oh, would you not like?" I can't even really remember the conversations, but I remember people saying, "Like, would you not love to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, of course," but like, it's just not happening. And then I put it on the shelf for a long time. I don't. To be honest, I didn't even watch the shows that much. I watched the first one, and I put it on the shelf. And then once I found out I was going, I kind of knew more because they done this video kind of showing you what the island was. I never watched it because I was like, well, I'm not going. Like, I don't care how cool it is, like, in the nicest way again. But like, then once I found out that I was going, I was on watching all the videos. I was like, oh, look, I'm going here, and all that stuff.
And I even messaged you because I was like, you were putting up stuff every day on your story, and I was like, I'm the person sitting here getting excited over your lunch being delivered in like a UFC box.
Excited me too. Like even with the UFC logo on the box, and it's like, wow, it looks so cool. It just looks so ideal, so exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. You mentioned obviously the fight didn't go your way. It was a massive, massively difficult fight. He is becoming, infamous almost in the UFC, Chimaev, and he's getting shoved up the rankings, and you hear from one day to the next who he could be fighting, and he's obviously got Neil Magny next. But you don't regret taking that fight at all, do you?
Not at all. If they rung me and asked me would I fight in 6 days' notice again, I'd probably do it again. I'm not someone that regrets stuff by any means. It's great what Chimaev's doing. With that being said, I set up in 6 days. Give me a few wins, give me a few fights doing what I do, and I'd like to run that one back.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 6 days. Do you know what I mean? What else can you say? But he's doing fantastic, and like long may it continue. But the way I'm going and the way he's going will align again. So
Yeah.
I sleep easy at night knowing that it's all good.
I mean, it was a really tough matchup, a tough style to prepare for on 6 days' notice. Even, I mean, there's lots of tough fighters, and I'm going to come on to your next opponent in a second, who is also a really, really tough matchup. But people say there's no easy fights in the UFC, but I find it hard to believe there could be a tougher first fight than him at the moment.
So the problem with everything was obviously with restrictions and training. We were doing like private group sparring and striking because it's less contact than wrestling. But like, I don't even like saying this, but we haven't wrestled in 15, 16 weeks. Like the first time I wrestled was the Monday after the fight was accepted. But listen, I took it on. I wasn't making any excuses before the fight. I was there to fight. I was there to win. But the muscle memory of wrestling and stuff was so bizarre, and so next time.
We also saw Graham Boylan tell you the name of the opponent. You said, who have I got? He said, Hamza. You said, I don't know who that is. I don't care. I'll fight anyone. And that is your whole mentality, isn't it?
For sure. And I think a lot of people took that as oh, he doesn't know, or it's so disrespectful. It's I'm not the world's biggest UFC fan. I don't know the whole roster. I don't know. Same as the next guy I'm fighting, I didn't hear of him, but it doesn't mean I don't respect him. It doesn't mean I don't all the good stuff. I just don't know the whole roster. How could I know the whole roster? I'm training to be in it. I'm fighting in it. If I knew the whole roster, I'd be watching more than I would be training.
You'd be doing my job.
This is it, exactly. This is the point. I don't think. I think people read it very wrong, but yeah, of course I know who he is now.
Yeah, well, and he also kind of mumbled it, and he only gave you his first name. So, I don't think I would have worked it out just from that. But
and the emotion, he could have said I'm fighting myself, and I would have been like, I don't even know who that is. It's one of them moments. It's flip. I don't even know what he's saying.
And as I alluded to earlier, your next opponent's pretty tough as well, Alex Moreno. They say there are no easy fights in the UFC, but this guy's got 10 fights in the UFC already. Did you not want an easy fight for your second fight, Rhys?
I think if anything, it's a compliment to me. I believe the UFC know, yes, I took my debut in 6 days, but they don't want to give me another UFC debut. They don't want to give me someone, like who's past it or something like that. They've given me someone 10 fights in the UFC, well known in America. You're right, no easy fights in the UFC, but this fight excites me a lot. When I got his name and done a bit of research on paper, like this is the win that I want. Someone who's been there for 6 whatever years, 10
A
fights.
winning record as well, not just 10 fights. Like he's 6-3-1, no contest. I think. Yeah.
He's no slouch. He's no new boy on the block. So I take it as a huge compliment. But again, I think the UFC know that I belong in the higher essence of that division. That I'm not like someone that's there for a fight and bounce. I'm there to stay.
Yeah. So what is it about the matchup that excites you?
Yeah, I just believe I'm cool, calm, and collective, and I believe he's like a ball of aggression. Like he's a ball. He might fight on emotion. He's a shorter fighter. Don't want to give too much away, but he does a lot of stuff that like fall into my game very, very much. I just like the fight in all fronts. He comes to fight, which I do. He's game, which I'm game. So it actually reminds me of a few fights I've had. So yeah, I'm training hard and I'm very excited.
And hopefully you're able to train a bit better than you were first time around, because hopefully you're back in the gym and you're able to do a bit more at the moment in terms of contact and stuff and proper.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of told that I would be fighting on the island again, so I was kind of preparing for that, which was 4 weeks ago. So I had 6 weeks done, but so I'm on about week 10 of training now. So like I've had like kind of like 2 fight camps into one. So like if they rung me and said, Rhys, we need to push your fight to Fight Island this weekend, I'd be happy days. Like I'm good to go with that. So I think there's more restrictions coming in now, so we have to tweak it and be a bit funnier now. But I mean, all the hard end of the fight camp is wrapped up, and now we're just polishing things and fine tuning.
As I was saying that there, I was hoping I wasn't getting you in trouble with stuff that you're not supposed to be doing in the gym.
No.
New restrictions.
No, we're very very careful.
Joe Barton said his style will suit your style and you will knock him out.
Yeah, I agree. I think his he fights with his heart on his sleeve. Something I used to be guilty of, but I believe when the heat comes up in the fight and it starts getting hot and heavy, I just think he'll make a mistake, and I'm clinical in there. So
yeah, and I do think that you are very calm and collected. When even when you walked out, I thought on your debut, you've been looking forward to this moment for so long, but you just look totally calm. And I think that's because in your heart, you belong there. And so it's not a kind of overroaring experience, even though it's, your UFC debut.
Yeah, absolutely. Like even like walking out there or any fight, it's very much like the same as walking out to the gym for sparring for me. And I'm big in mindset and big in stuff like that, but it's not something I fake or it's just so fun. I found it hard to get worked up, and when I did get worked up in my early fights, I hated it. I didn't have a good time. So now I have a great time.
How did you find it fighting without a crowd there?
I didn't notice. A lot of people ask me, did you notice that? And I didn't really notice. Obviously, the nature of the fight maybe didn't help. Didn't help that, but like you just
I meant for the walkout and stuff
though. Like it was just so like everything about it was weird. It was like the crazy 6 days. So like by the time we got to the fight, like nothing weirder could have happened. But no, to be honest, it was kind of nice. You weren't caught up and like walk out to the cage and that's it. Go fight.
Yeah. And I saw that you always do your Sunday questions on Instagram, which I love. And somebody asked you about what did they ask you about this week that I wanted to ask? You
everything.
always get asked if you're going back to 155, and I'm always glad that you say you're not.
Oh, this like that question. Yeah, I'm gonna put something up on my feed and tell people like, please don't ask me this question. Like and my point is, I would do it if I could make the weight safely. I would, but if I could make 145 safely, I would also fight at that weight. So it doesn't make sense. Like people don't understand. I walk about it like 195, 194. I'm not that at the minute, like because I'm coming down, but like
yeah.
just not like it's just not. I'm 6'3" on a Monday, so it's just like 155 just doesn't make sense.
No, I don't think so either, and I think you look great at 170, and I just think you're going to have more power, and the longer you fight at 170, the more lean muscle mass you're going to build, and I just think it really suits you, that weight class.
Yeah, and even when I fought Perry Goodwin and stuff, it was like it was so bizarre. Like my legs, which I was so jelly legged. It was brutal. It was really grim. So no, 170 for the foreseeable. I never say never again, but I would definitely have to do a trial cut if I was even to consider going down. But once I get to 170, I'm done. Like once I get there, it's like, oh, no more.
Yeah, and I think that's it. You're building muscle mass every time, so it's not like when you were 155 and you were never getting too much bigger than that because you knew you had to cut back down to there. So it's just going to be even more brutal now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when I was walking at 155, when I was fighting at 155, I'd probably walk on at about 182, 181. Like it's an extra 12 pound to have.
Yeah.
13 more, maybe. Yeah, so that's the answer.
So what about Fight Island experience last time? Do you think you'll take forward this time? Is there anything that's going to make it, like anything that you're expecting now that you weren't expecting before, or?
I just think good question actually. I think the whole the whole bizarreness will just be gone. It's a massive deal. We're fighting in the pinnacle. Like it's the greatest sporting organization MMA has. So I just think that first time will be took off. Even though I wasn't nervous or scared or anything like that. Like I think this time it'll just be no, back to business now. Away, almost like the Fight Island was like a joke show. Like now is the real stuff. And to get to do it in Las Vegas is ridiculous. It's my favorite place in the world. So I think I'm going to have to pinch myself a few times and say, listen, it's not a holiday, relax.
It's not a bad venues for your first two fights there, is it?
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like someone actually asked me the other day, like, oh, where's your next fight? And I was like, oh, Las Vegas. And they were like, and I was like, oh, flip, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? Like you have to remind yourself, like, oh, it's ridiculous. Like, but again, it's the fruits of our labor, isn't it? It's like you have, we fought in the York Hall and London and Manchester and all these places and worse shows at home. You have to put them shows in before you get the big one. So yeah, it's very enjoyable and very different.
And actually, this was the thing you said on your Sunday questions this week. I can't remember what the question was, but your reply to it was, this almost feels like it's your debut, almost like the first time was a dress rehearsal for this one.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. Like, I've had again, I think when I got the text at who it was like 8.5 weeks. But I've been getting ready to go for 11 weeks. There's no stone unturned. This will be the real one. This will be the fight that everybody sees. Because obviously, I don't care about stuff like people saying like I'm sure you see on Twitter yourself like, oh, I get smashed by Kamzat and stuff, and it's like, yeah, just watch this one though. But that stuff doesn't get to me at all. Like it really doesn't. But I know what's going on. I know what. I guess to everybody else.
I can't bear it. I've seen ones from this weekend just gone, and you just think they're not from other fighters. They're definitely not. They're from people with avatars as their profile picture. You know, no time for those
Exactly.
people.
But like, I think if anything, I have like a like I have a responsibility in my own head. I don't care what anyone thinks. Like, I'll win a fight however I win it or whatever. But in my own head, I have the standard to fight up to now. It's not about some 13-year-old on Instagram that thinks I'm this and that. It's for myself. My last performance was far from what I do, but this one will be the one.
Yeah, this is going to be the one that shows the world who Rhys McKee is.
Yeah, for sure.
I totally believe that. So another thing that I wanted to ask you about was quarantine, because there's a whole lot of that comes along with fighting at the moment. So what are your tips for getting through quarantine?
Well, for me, because when we were quarantining, and over this whole thing of the quarantine, you have to keep training and keep moving and having a purpose of the day. Because see, if you and when we first went into quarantine, we had weeks of binge watching TV, and there's a stage I didn't train for maybe 11 or 12 days, and I've never felt worse in my life. And it's not easy doing it in your living room and stuff, but it has to, even if it's not training, read a book or learn something or ring an old friend. You have to have an objective for the day, because your day just goes to nothing if you don't. But it's so.
What about when you're in the hotel and you've literally there for 48 hours or whatever it is until you get your test results back?
See, to be honest, I found that easy. I slept for 2 days. I slept. I slept in. I napped. I ate. I napped again. I trained. I napped. I went to bed early. For me, and any advice to a fighter on Fight Island or any quarantine, it's get the sleep in, because it's just so everything's done for you for 2 days. It's perfect. Sleep, and sleep.
Even the food's delivered.
Yeah, I had no complaints about that 48-hour quarantine. Zero.
Right, we've got some questions come in, so I'm just gonna go to some of these. Stuart Henderson wants to know, who did you look up to when you were coming up?
Probably. I mean, I didn't really look up to anyone, because I always knew what I wanted. But Norman Park was in the UFC. So it's hard to look past. He was the first one that made me realize that you could do it, and it's maybe what I wanted. So I mean, I would have to give the answer to him.
Yeah. What did you think of Gamrot's debut at the weekend? Did you see that?
Yeah, what an amazing fight!
Oh my God, was it amazing?
Yeah, I was so impressed with. I'm not even going to try and say his name, Guram. But I was so impressed, and I actually scored the fight to him. So it was weird. He obviously said it was bullshit and stuff, but I think he won the fight. I don't think Gamrot. He took him down, flashed him, but he didn't really do much. But who do you think won the fight?
I thought that Gamrot nudged it, but it wasn't a robbery or anything, and I really wasn't sure when it got to it, because there were moments that I got so caught up in it that I don't actually think I was scoring it properly, if you know what I mean. And those scrambles were just mad. I was loving it.
I am too. I think I was watching it as I wasn't in it, or I wasn't scoring it. I was in it, know. So it was an amazing fight, and Gamrot is someone I enjoy watching. I enjoy cornered against him before. I would love to fight him if I ever went back down.
Or if he went up, let's say if he goes up.
If he comes up, but he's fantastic, and same as Guram, they both have. I'm very excited to watch them both.
Yeah, me too. What are your thoughts on this weekend's main event between Khabib and Gaethje?
Yeah, it's one of them ones that anytime I watch Khabib, I'm like, this could be the guy to catch him. And then I watch the fight and it's like, nah, it's not that guy. So I don't know, but I'm gonna say it again, but Gaethje could be the guy to catch him. I think Gaethje has nothing to lose, and I think when he fought McGregor, like he was on, like McGregor was expected to win by some, where I don't think many people will give Gaethje a fair chance. His record's not like the most prettiest record, or his style is not even the prettiest, but like he's a fighter and he's there to fight Khabib. So I don't know. It's hard to go against Khabib, but I think Gaethje's in for a shout. Like,
yeah, and he will give it everything. We know that much. Steve Brigg wants to know Kingdom or Cobra Kai. Both
Kingdom.
very good things to watch in lockdown.
I didn't enjoy Cobra Kai at all.
No, really?
No, I hated it. Kingdom though, Kingdom was my jam. I liked Kingdom. I enjoyed it a lot.
How good is that? It's brilliant, isn't it?
It was emotional. That's what it was.
It was very, very emotional, especially as it went on.
And it was fantastic though. The MMA was really good. Like, I mean, you know, they weren't. It wasn't like all super bad punches and you know, like flying hook kicks. It was logical stuff. It was good. I
also love spotting like some of the like real life fighters in it when you just suddenly like, that's Cobb Swanson or that. That was pretty cool. Right. Pride of Warrior. Who's the GOAT?
Who's the GOAT? I'm gonna have to. I think Adesanya. Maybe hasn't earned it just yet. Like in terms of like he hasn't been about for that long. But I think he's the GOAT. I think, and if he's not the GOAT, he's definitely gonna be soonest. I think he's the GOAT.
Wow, that's it. That's pretty cool. So you don't think there's anyone at the moment that can take the belt off him?
I don't know. I don't. I think it'd be hard to touch. Like I think. And again, he's similar to my style, like, you know, that long striker, elusive, you know, often by the book. You know, yeah, I think he's going to go far. He's a problem for everyone. Yeah,
he is. I'm sure I asked you this on our last interview, but if you could change one rule in MMA, what would you change?
So there's actually a few I could say. Like there's a few I really feel strongly about, but I think the judging's bad. I seen someone else got robbed at the weekend.
Yeah,
you know, kid Faraz Yam against the guy, the Australian guy. I think that there's something that needs to change.
The one that Ross Pearson was in his corner. Malarkey.
Yeah. I think like I don't know if it would work, but like. If you get like 20 judges, like maybe all at home, and like, you know, the more people you have judging a fight, educated people who know the crack and know what's up, like, you know, the higher chance of getting a correct answer. But 3 people, like, you know, one of them only has to be an idiot to mess everything up.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw the boxing at the weekend. There was one guy on his phone when he was supposed to be judging the boxing, and then he was the one who came out with the crazy result at the end.
Yeah, like no wonder. Like, how does stuff like that happen?
Especially with the way the rules are now, and like if it's supposed to be the most impactful punch or something, so somebody could have like winning the round, and then you do the most damage. Like, and if that person's on their phone or not paying attention, like it's people's careers at stake.
It's ridiculous. It's something like I've never messed with. I remember judging an amateur fight one night, or an amateur fight show, and I was sweating. I was so nervous, you know, and because it's not easy. So to do it at that level, it requires a lot of guts. But at the same time, if you're in that position, you have to do it and you have to take it serious. Yeah,
when they've got the judging, the things that Mark Goddard puts on, like the courses, I want to do one, but I would never want to be a judge because I'm just really honest about how biased I am about loads of fighters. And I just feel like if I really thought that person won, genuinely, everybody would just be on my case anyway.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. You'll never be right anyway. It's one of the jobs you're always wrong.
And you can't please all the people. Exactly. MMA Scotland, is there anyone you regret not fighting, like Ross Houston, for example? Your paths were a way to cross before you both moved on to bigger things.
Regret, not on my part. You know, I was up for that fight happening. I stayed in Cage Warriors. You know, after Ross left, no, so I definitely couldn't regret it, so to speak. I would love to have had the fight, but I mean, I was game and willing, and I know he was too. We actually texted at the time, but Ross had to go do what's best for him, and I stuck my path, and I believe the fruits of the labor have came through. So no regrets. I mean, there's loads of people I could have fought over the years. Like, I was actually thinking I was meant to fight that guy Fares Ziam on another show. Like, I've been linked with so many guys over the years where it's like, if we fought, it would have been cool. But no, I don't really regret stuff like that. That's it. No, I can't even say though. No, I can't even say. It's I got offered a fight one time with a UFC veteran, and I was tied into a contract. This is the one I regret, and I can't. Maybe I don't know if I can. I don't think I can say.
I bet you can.
You actually just mentioned his name.
Oh my god, I can't think who I just said.
Yeah, so someone will have to work that one out for you. But I got offered to fight that guy, but I was tied up in contracts. So that's a puzzle for you to work out.
I've got to go back and watch this straight after we get off air.
I don't know. In fairness, I don't know how close it was, but I know I was offered it, but it didn't get any further because of contracts.
Okay, I'm going to be thinking about this while we're talking now. Stuart said get ex-MMA fighters to be MMA judges. I definitely think that's the way forward.
Absolutely.
Somebody just saying hello to you.
Fearless
Nutsack. Glenn says, if you didn't sign with the UFC, you'd probably have had a shot at the Cage Warriors world title. Do you regret? People are talking to you a lot about regrets. This man is looking forward. Do you regret not winning it first, or are you happy where you are?
I don't regret it at all. I was only ever there to win it, to get to the UFC. I signed the contract to fight for the title. Like, I was meant to fight in Belfast for a headline for the title. So I feel like I won it anyway. I feel like what Mason done to Proctor, I was always going to do anyway. So I have zero regrets. I'm happy to be signed in the UFC. So
was it Ross Pearson?
Very good.
Hey, somebody's paying attention.
Anyway, it was I got the name through, and I was buzzing, but contracts didn't let it happen.
Yeah. So how long ago was that?
That was a while ago. That was before I fought Hackman Foss.
Okay, because I saw him fight last December for Pro Bellum. He was fighting Davey Norman, and he got knocked out by this Rolling Thunder. I'd never seen one in real life before.
That show?
Yeah, mad.
It would have been in that one.
Oh wow! Wow. Oh God! Well, that is a fight I would have liked to see, but there's many more that I'm looking forward to seeing you get matched up with. The Ross Houston one, I still think could happen down the line. Did you see his fight with MVP?
Yeah, I was actually very impressed. I don't know if that fight would ever happen. Like, my career will finish in the UFC. So it depends what Ross does at Bellator. And if he makes the jump over, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, yeah, it'd be a cool fight. He's a good guy. He impressed me a lot because, like, I've seen MVP train. I was lucky to be in Ship Fighters once and watched him spar. And let me tell you, that guy's an operator. That guy's a real deal. Like, I think if we ever got MVP in the UFC, I think that would be remarkable.
Do you think? I think the time's passed for him to join the UFC now. I think he would have done it by now if he was going to make that move. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think he's an absolute superstar at Bellator. I think he's paid way too much money to even consider leaving. And listen, you know what? Like, rightly so. Like, some fighters, that's the whole gig. So yeah, I think you're maybe right. Actually, what you said. Yeah.
And then Semtex as well. He's obviously an absolute legend in UK MMA. He's got his last fight coming up, so that's another fight that makes me sad that we'll never get to see you fight him. But
I didn't even think that one.
It's a huge, like, it's such a division that's like got so many opportunities. It's so stacked in the UFC. Is there anyone in particular that you would like to face down the line? I've got a good opponent in mind for you.
I would like to fight Carlos Condit next after this one. I'd like to fight Carlos Condit. I mean, everybody says Cerrone, so I'm going to leave him alone. There's so many fights. I seen James Krause at the weekend. I would like to fight him again. Like I want to fight someone that I watched as a kid. Like I stayed up late to and watched him. And that's Carlos Condit. I remember staying up when he fought GSP, and I was like, flip, the natural born killer. And, I think to stand across from him in the most respectful way would be amazing. And I also think I'd give him a hell of a fight, and I believe I'd win that fight. So I would love that one. I would really. That's the one I'll call for after Moreno.
I would love to see that fight as well. I'd like to see you fight Mike Perry.
Yeah, I'd love to fight him. It's another fight. Like we'd have such a good fight. And when I say we'd have a good fight, I mean like I think I would have a good fight. Like it's, but you dangerous. Like these are guys that are household names now. Like
yeah,
they're the people I want to fight. Like I don't want the debuts. I don't want the unknowns. Like So yeah. There's so many good fights.
I know. I totally agree with you. And Peter said Carlos is a ledge. He certainly is. I would love to see that fight. There's also the possibility. There's always the possibility of Dan Hardy coming back for one, but that would be cool. Stuart says, "Hey Rhys, just want to wish you the best of luck in November."
Appreciate it.
So I hope you feel the love, Rhys. Like everyone I speak to is so behind you, just so excited for you. It's something.
Everyone has my back so much, and like I mean, it is phenomenal, and like I mean, it's just time. Like it's just I just feel like the last one, like everybody is with me, but I didn't really get to have the ideal send off. But like this is the vicious one. Like I don't like using the term I've got a new hunger, because I don't. I always had the same hunger, but there's a real importance in this one for me, and yeah, I'm very excited.
I'm glad this time you've got full preparation, almost double preparation if it's a double camp. But we're just 100% behind you. I'm always so attached to all the people who've come from Cage Warriors. I feel like I've been watching them forever. And it means the world to see you there living your dream, and to know how much it means to you is just very special. And yeah, very proud of you, very happy for you.
Appreciate it so much. It means a lot.
Oh, well, best of skill for November, and can't wait to see you bring home that W.
Thank you so much.
Take care, Rhys. Thank you.
Yeah.